Hello Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Welcome to my tarot channel. Welcome to your tarot reading. Please come into this reading with an open heart and an open mind, a desire to learn something and better yourself. If the messages that come through do not resonate for you, please do push them aside. Assume they're going out to someone else who needs to hear them. And it might just resonate for you in the future. So again, be open to that. Do remember you are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. This is optional advice, guidance, and energy check-in. Trust that your own intuition will separate what is meant for you and what is not. Let's do it. So let's set the intention. Let's get Taurus, my Taurus babes, clear, helpful, insightful messages. Here we go. So what's showing up in Taurus's past? What's a significant storyline showing up in Taurus's past? Ooh, 3 cards. All right, 4 of Wands, Page of Pentacles, and the 9 of Cups. Taking a leap of faith on your person, taking a leap of faith on what your heart is telling you, understanding that good things take time, but you have no reason not to pursue things that make you feel alive. Look at that 4 of Wands. This is so joyful. This deck is really cool. I don't use it enough, and when I break it out to use it, I'm like, oh yeah, I love this deck. This feels wonderful. This is like taking a leap of faith. And you know, the 9 of Cups is about finding your own emotional fulfillment individually, but that makes you the absolute best you can be for a partner. So you seem to be at a really good space where you're honoring your heart space. You're living your truth. You're living, authentically, by your heart, by your head, all those good things. And so if you're not currently in a partnership, it's like you're setting yourself up for huge success. There may be, if you're not with a person currently, there may be some back and forth with a fellow earth sign. And, true to earth sign nature, it's a little slow to start, but I don't think it's leaving you in a space of, well, I'm confused. And what is this? And why did they say that? You're just kind of like, whatever. I'm just going to, okay, they want to ask me out again? Sure, let's do it. But it's very like, I'm not going to go home and like hold my phone waiting for your text. It's so not that energy. It's like you're getting out with your girlfriends, you're doing your thing, you're hanging out with your whatever nieces, nephews, you're doing this, you're doing that, yeah. You are not busying your time, you're literally staying present and enjoying your life. That's what I get from the past. So if already you're like, that's not me, A, this might not be your story this time around, or B, that's your advice from the universe if you're trying to manifest love or anything good, really, your dream job. Dip into that kind of like soul stuff and see what comes out. That's going to help align you to your path. So what is the impacts of this recent energy in the past? What is the impacts of this, please? The Knight of Cups reversed. All right, so you may have had to do a little bit of decluttering. You may have had to release energetically people, things, situations that were in your life, and it's not necessarily, especially if these are people or a person, it's not necessarily that they meant bad or they had malintent, but ultimately they weren't able to offer you what you really needed. And so there is a freeing sense of, it's almost like releasing yourself from guilt of just because this person wanted to be with me and, maybe they were whining and dining me. Ultimately, like what my soul, what my heart space was calling for and what I needed in my life, they weren't able to meet me at that level. And so there's a releasing of it where you're like, I release it and I wish them well, but also that doesn't make me a bad person. I don't feel guilty because I know our paths either maybe they ran parallel for a bit and there was some magic and some moments, but ultimately it's like you're aligning to a higher purpose. You're aligning to like a higher path, a higher destiny. You're again honoring what it is that you truly want and not necessarily settling for less. You have a lot of cards popping on here, but so the Justice card. Yeah, I think maybe you were in a relationship that didn't have an appropriate amount of balance. I think there was a mirroring. It was like a soul connection I meant a karmic connection where, metaphorically, you guys both held a mirror to each other and it got you to sort of reflect upon you and the things that you really wanted. And that maybe wouldn't have happened had this person not come into your life. And so this person, love them, hate them, or something in between. They were a beautiful blessing to you, but not necessarily because it served you in terms of like, this is my soulmate in my relationship. This was like the key being handed to me via this person to unlock some sort of internal door that I needed to sort of explore and discover and shine light on. You may have had to reject somebody. You may have had to turn somebody down. Especially, it came out in reverse, and I don't typically read reversals unless it feels super meaningful and important. And here it does. It feels like in reverse, there was like potential for something to get off the ground. Any type of offer that was that was touching you in a more emotional capacity. Now, for most of you, it was probably romantic, but it doesn't mean it wasn't some sort of job opportunity or any opportunity that you're like, ooh, like that triggers something in me that I kind of want it. But upon further discovery, you're like, oh, I understand why I wanted that now, because like, I was lacking love and I was trying to get it via another person rather than, turning that energy inward. Like there was something about it where it helped you to reset the scales. But again, I think this is like karmic justice in a sense. It's like you're setting yourself up for an even better opportunity by knowing who and what to say no to if it's not in alignment with what you ultimately want, because it's not about people pleasing. I think there may have been an element of that too, is like living your life to make other people happy. That can be very like Venus energy. That is your ruling planet, right? But then at what point are you sacrificing your own life and your own fun and your own dreams? I'm getting a storyline here where you may have been in a relationship where it was very, I don't know if codependent is the right term, but it demanded a lot of your time. And so you may have let friendships, platonic, wonderful friendships, guys, girls, whatever, fall by the wayside. And so there may be sort of a reinvigorations of friendships that maybe you put on the back burner, not intentionally, but I think, again, there's like some inner wisdom of truth of like, wow, by being in a romantic relationship, I shouldn't have to sacrifice my social life. And some of you felt like you had to do that. And so there's a revival of those friendships. A lot of them are still in your life. You may actually be meeting new people because your vibe is so high. You're like attracting new people in. There's a magneticism. Is that the right term? You're magnetic. I don't know. You're drawing in good energy. You may have had to put something aside with a Libra or a Pisces, possibly. All right, your emotions. How is Taurus feeling right now in regarding kind of the current situation? 10 of Wands and the 5 of Cups. Yeah, you're moving on from anything that makes you feel lackluster. There's a little bit of, this almost feels very 8 of Cups to me, the combination of these two, which is like emotional bravery. 8 of Cups, and just to be clear, that has not come out, but I'm literally getting it from these two. 8 of Cups is Saturn in Pisces, so there is some sort of restriction being put on the feeling capacity, and I think that has to do with the situation that you're understanding. Maybe it was never for me. Maybe by trying to control it and hold on to it and force it to be something it's not, square peg, round hole. Maybe by releasing it, it's actually making room for what is meant to be. And so there is a moving on, and it's bittersweet. I kind of get that because I don't get the sense that you hated this person, but I think you can see the forest from the trees now and see where, as much as you loved hanging out with them or parts of this relationship were ideal or just whatever, they were okay, it was what you needed at the time. I think now you're able to see with more clarity, there was a lot about this relationship that was actually holding me back. And that's sort of like this awakening of like, oh, that's kind of scary to recognize, but also really badass and empowering. You can be sad about making a decision that was right for you. That's what this is speaking to me about. 5 of Cups is that I've had to sacrifice or lose something in order to move on. And right now, emotionally, you may not have an exact pulse on what that next chapter is. But again, like huge amounts of bravery is here. Like you're willing to leave the past in the past and put something down, knowing that it wasn't offering you anything more. Like there was stagnancy. It wasn't allowing you to grow. So emotionally, you're like, all right, there's more out there for me. Like intuitively, I feel it. I just don't necessarily have a clarity on what that is. And like my advice to you is like, keep going. Absolutely. Like this is so wonderful. Do your best to stay in that energy. Try not to linger too much on the past, replaying past narratives, the shoulda, coulda, woulda energy. It's just not worth it. Like you are about to embark on like an amazing, fun new chapter and journey if you haven't already. So what is Taurus's plans? What's going on in the mental sector? Their ambitions, their plans? What's going on there for Taurus? Thank you. I love when they pop. 6 of Swords. Yeah, quite literally moving on. I absolutely love it. Having a little bit more clarity, even if it's not being able to see the full visualization and the whole picture yet. It's sort of receiving the information from the universe that it's okay to disconnect and put some distance here. And I'm, it's going to be different for all of you. Maybe this is leaving a job that just didn't respect you, value, it didn't pay you what you were worth, the input didn't match the output, or however you want to say it. For some of you, maybe there is still I don't know if emotional tie is the right word, because there might still be some connection to this person where it's not like you're like, peace out, I'm done, we're never talking again. To be honest, I actually don't get that. I think you guys for most of you, I think you guys cared about each other a whole lot. And so there is this, it's like it's bittersweet, but there's this recognition and understanding like we can't be together like as a couple, but I'm not just going to kick you out of my life and never talk to you again because we have too much. Like we've been through too much together, so that wouldn't feel authentic to be like, I'm never speaking to you again. I just don't see that. And I'm not saying that you're looking for a revival of this or that, if they grow up and mature, you'll choose them. Like sure, if you want to. I don't necessarily see that storyline coming through yet. I think there's a powerful understanding that it is time to move on. It's time to get my life back on track. And the minute you start to take steps to do that, you're thriving, like you're glowing, the glow up. So what is holding Taurus back, please? It's bittersweet though. I see you very apprehensive at first to make this decision to move on. But trust your intuition. Trust that if you fall, the universe will catch you. Don't ignore the signs. They're all there. You're very intuitive right now. What holds Taurus back right now? What is holding them back? What is holding them back? The Star. Interesting. I love the Star card. Okay, so there's a couple messages here. The first one, and I'm not sure this is the main storyline, sometimes the Star represents groups and clubs and communities and friendship circles. And some of you, there is a interwovenness between your guys' lives, whoever this person was that you probably are distancing yourself from, that makes it very complicated to hang out socially because you have a lot of people in the same network. That's not reason enough to not do it. Allow things to be a little bit uncomfortable from time to time, as long as you're coming into it with good intentions and a pure heart. Yeah, you might run into this person every now and then, and I think you're worried that's going to be a trigger, and it doesn't have to be, but it's almost like you kind of have to go into these situations with do the mental preparation of okay, this is going to happen and I'm not going to ignore them. I'm not going to be rude to them. I'm just going to treat them like everybody else. And it's hard. I get that. That's hard to do. But yeah, for some of you, the fear of the social situations and dynamics or running into their family or this or that, you're kind of like, oh, this is going to be weird. That's a very minor storyline. Obviously, you can't let that hold you back from moving on and living your life. Some of you, what's holding you back is you're feeling a calling to go to, I'm hearing distant lands. Take that with a grain of salt, but it's you're feeling this unspoken drive, calling to, it's almost like not a pilgrimage, but more or less, metaphorically, that's what I'm getting. It's I've always felt destined to go to fill in the blank. Maybe it's California. Maybe I just heard California or Colorado or I don't know. Or maybe it's outside the States, right? Maybe it's, Israel or whatever. It's there's this calling of stepping up into some sort of higher vibration and answering the calling. I'm not sure what that is, you guys. I'm struggling with the message here. But there's a lot of fear regarding it. It's well, I've never been there and I don't know anybody there. And I have an unusual feeling that the circumstances are going to arrive where this just kind of magically transpires. I'm not saying you get a free ride there or whatever, but maybe it's you may meet some connection via a random stranger or person or someone at a coffee shop, or you're getting signs and indicators that you're meant to go here. You're meant to travel here because there's a greater spiritual purpose for it. Maybe you're not going to move there, right? Maybe you are. I don't know. But it's almost immersing yourself in that place, in that sort of nature, that culture, that community, whatever it is that place offers that is greatly contrasts your current reality. It's something that's going to revive you and show you a different part of the world, and it's going to open up part of your psyche that was kind of blocked or closed off before. It may be chakra stuff, I don't know. But yeah, it's you're feeling a yearning or a calling to go somewhere, but there's a lot of it doesn't seem like a plausible reality for you. You're there's no way that could ever happen. How would I possibly end up there and know what to do and how to navigate it? It's interesting. A lot of you may actually end up planning that trip a whole lot sooner than you thought, because again, something transpires where it's a domino effect, where the minute you hear the calling from the universe and you start to contemplate well, could I go there realistically? How much is a ticket? Or what are living accommodations like there? You just kind of do the random Google search to see what's up. And then all of a sudden it's things start to align and you're I guess I'm going on this trip. That's pretty badass. That's pretty rock star. That's pretty cool. What else is holding you back? Possibly something with an Aquarius who still has a lot of love for you, and you're just I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do because I love them too. And that may be someone totally different too. There could be the wish and the hope of something coming into fruition that is holding you back. And I'll say this, is there evidence of it in your life now? at all? Are they messaging you? Are you guys actively hanging out? Or is this like someone I met 10 years ago and I haven't heard from them and, whatever? You can't let that hold you back. Then I think you with, earthy energy, Taurus, that's how you do. That's how you roll. If there isn't evidence of it in your life right now, you can't put your life on pause and like, well, maybe they'll call me, or if they move back to town, I don't want to have moved here. And like, that. I know you know that. You're a very practical, responsible, realistic thinker. But yeah, for some of you, quite literally an Aquarius is holding you back. Some of you tapping into your own spirituality, like being a channel, being a psychic, it's something that maybe you were taught wasn't appropriate. And so you tend to shy away from it. But really, like I'm getting like high priestess vibes too. Like you have a spiritual gift of knowledge and insight, but some of you, you're refusing to acknowledge it. And therefore, it's always going to be available to you if you choose to go into that, but there's a fear regarding tapping into like your spiritual gifts and your spiritual power that could not only help you but could help others. Just putting it out there. So forward action. What are we being advised for Taurus to do? The Moon and the 10 of Swords. Yeah. Sort of what I was saying about what is the reality of your situation now. That's what you have to go off of. You have no reason not to manifest and try and bring new things in. But in terms of the daily decision making, in terms of planning your future, what is reasonable and what is in your life right now? That's what you're making decisions off of, and I think you need to stay grounded. You need to stay present. You can't get lost in fantasy land, especially in terms of things returning from the past. That seems to be of particular importance. 10 of Swords says to me, your action plan needs to be based on a hard-hitting truth that you received recently, but also it's been a long time coming. It's something that you've been feeling for years at this point. With the 10 of Swords, it doesn't just appear as this heartbreaking scenario. It's something that's like the warning signs and the signals were there. The red flags were collecting, and all of a sudden we've reached a breaking point. We're at the end of the cycle. 10 of Swords to me is the revealing of information that changes you as a person. So revelatory information, people confronting you with something, people sharing, internal truths and information that maybe weren't available to you. But again, it's like your spidey senses were tingling for a while. And then it's like the realization that, oh, okay, like now this information has been brought to the light. Sun in Gemini is the planet connotation. So I can see this information and the facts it's like it's written on the wall now. So all I can do is see it and acknowledge it. And you can't ignore it anymore. And so from there, it's like, well, what am I choosing to do with this information now? Because again, with the Sun card, the ego, the soul, like who we are, something about this information has changed you as a person. And for some of you, it has to do with someone who either considers themselves a victim or someone who, it may have something to do with illness. And again, I don't predict this kind of stuff. Like I don't predict scary stuff that you're going to walk away going, oh my God, what was that? Because that's not what I do. That serves no purpose. And that's not really in my ethical code. And I'm saying this because the 10 of Swords says this is not like you being hit with some sort of shocking information that you didn't already know. This is like something that you already intuitively knew. The information has now been presented and you're like, yeah, that makes sense, and it still sucks. That's sort of the Moon to the 10 of Swords here. So, someone in your life, there could be some sort of illness. There could be some sort of, again, victim mentality. Someone could have expressed a truth to you about something that transpired in their own life that was a huge emotional scar, a traumatic situation, trauma carried throughout the years. And also for you specifically, Taurus, despite what's going on external to you and people in your lives, for you, there's the dawning of a new day and the recognition that you are on like a spiritual journey to heal your soul. And I know that sounds really intense and I'm using all these heady words, but with the Moon to the 10 of Swords, it's like, I can't live the way I've been living anymore. Like I've reached the point where it's more uncomfortable to stay where I'm at present than to take some sort of risk or turn the next page and embrace the new chapter, not knowing what's to come. There's more comfort and joy in that than staying in a situation that is just kind of lackluster, or again, it's like it's been such a staying post in your life. It's been such a consistent energy that you didn't realize how much better life could get. And that's why this information or this truth was revealed to you, to see like there's a whole world out there. Like this is a very I don't know how to say it and not be offensive. Like, this is a very you circumstance. So you've been living in this truth thinking this is how the whole world operates and everybody goes through this. And that's not necessarily true. And like, more power to you because you're a badass and your tenacity has served you well and you've gotten through some crummy circumstances. But the universe is saying, you deserve more though, right? Like when you, this is the universe or spirit, God, whatever speaking to you, it's like, when you decide you want more, I'm right there with you. But like it's almost like you have to be that person who initiates it. You have to be that person who's like the whistleblower of like, all right, this is stopping and this is my new life. This is my new chapter. There could have been, again, a very, I don't know if tumultuous is the right word, but a tragic with the moon. It's like, just like falling into the despair of the ocean. There could have been an ending with a romantic partner where it's like, you guys tried to make it work. Maybe there was a lot of arguing, a lot of fighting, a lot of shouting. I don't know. Or maybe it was just like this, we love each other, but we're not in love with each other. And that was a very hard-hitting realization for you both, especially for your Pisces. You guys may have had to walk away from a Pisces, or again, Aquarius, Libra. Doesn't really matter the sign, but you have a couple cards of Pisces. And like the action essentially is like you do need to release what isn't serving you. Again, even if it doesn't always feel like you made the right decision, I think you did. I said that earlier to you. Like, it's okay to be sad for making the right decision. You have several cards indicating that. Again, I don't mean to completely diminish what you're going through, but I want to underscore, yes, you're in your fields now, you're having some heavy energy, but like this feels freaking awesome. So know that this is sort of the gateway into a new chapter that it feels so elated. It feels so wonderful. So what is the hopes and dreams for Taurus in terms of this scenario? What are they hoping to get out of this? Hopes, dreams, wishes, goals, long-term stuff. Just for my own understanding, what is Taurus hoping to achieve? Whoa. You literally want the whole card. The Chariot, yeah, freedom, adventure, travel, moving somewhere else, aligning back into yourself, using your positive experiences and negative experiences, and using them in collaboration with each other to drive you forward, the darkness makes you appreciate the light and vice versa. One can't exist without the other. So it's about embracing and acknowledging them both. You have to love the shadow. The shadow wants to be in the light. The shadow wants to shine too. And yeah, it's like what I mean by that is like when you look at the gunk and the stuff that we don't really like looking at about ourselves, the things where we've, things that have held us back, but by our own choosing, even if it's subconscious, it's like, you wouldn't be where you are today without that. So in some ways you have to love and appreciate the shadow. But when you stop to acknowledge it and look at it and be a little bit more analytical, it's not as scary. It's not the demon in your closet. It's not the skeleton in your closet. It's not the monster that holds you back anymore. There's an awareness that it exists. And then you can kind of make friends and be like, okay, sometimes you're going to take the light and that's going to be that. And then other days I'm going to feel amazing and I'm going to feel kick-ass and I'm going to be in King of Wands energy and things are going to be really, really good. But it's about embracing both. Some of you may be traveling to see a fire sign or vice versa, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I do think if you choose to go on some sort of expedition or adventure, whether it's, 20 miles down the road or, across the ocean, there is potential for a very wise, spiritual person to enter your life who either acts as a mentor and counselor for you. And I use that very loosely. It could be someone you just learn a lot from. There's a beautiful exchange of wisdom, but there could also be a lot of passion and inspiration from this person. There could be a romantic connection with the King of Wands coming to you. Anything else? What is Taurus hoping to accomplish and achieve long term? It's a travel opportunity is definitely, yeah, there he is. I was gonna say, that's so funny. I parted the deck at him. He's like, no, I want to be seen. Fair enough. My bad, spirit. It's like King of Wands needs to be seen. It's Leo energy. It's like, excuse me. I am the sun. I am the sun king. Could you please let me out in your tarot reading? But also, I think that's indicative of your energy. You need to be seen. You are your own person. You can't constantly be catering to everyone else in your life. And Taurus, you kind of had a similar reading recently, didn't you? That's starting to come back to me of like this, nurturer, cater, mother, father energy, only you're doing it to like your spouse and you're like, oh, there's like a weird boundary here of like, you're not my child. Like I can't constantly be wiping your butt and picking you up when you fall. And like, there needs to be like equality and equal amounts of respect and healthy boundaries in a partnership. And so I think you're stepping into your power and recognizing what you deserve and going after it. Some of you may have strong Leo in your chart. Pounce on it, own it. Read up on the sign of Leo. What do you like about it? And also I'll say too, sometimes when you read about Leos, there is like this, and bear with me because this is a longer message than just the surface level of it. I have this experience too. Sometimes you read up on Leo and the things you hear, it's like these traits, you're like, oh, like diva, center of attention, needs to be the ego stroke and like needs to be the center spotlight and blah, blah, blah. And so it's kind of like, ew, like that's how they live their life. But that's actually very, very different from the truth. I think a lot of Leos, their soul journey in life is to step into the role as some sort of leader, right? They are ruled by the sun and all the planets revolve around the sun, right? Like they all, right? So it's like they do command the room. They do kind of run the show, but for the Leo's journey, the Leo trajectory is getting comfortable in that role. And a lot of Leos grow up not feeling like they deserve it, like feeling like they're the littlest one in their family and they don't have the time, they don't get the time of day or the attention, or they're literally like not allowed to shine their light. And so getting to a point where they're like, I'm here and I'm great and I'm wonderful. And it doesn't make them an egomaniac or a narcissist, right? A healthy developing Leo is sharing their gifts with the world because it's meant to inspire other people. I always say Leo is fixed fire, right? So Leo is the campfire. We all sit around the campfire for literally hours and just stare at it. That is Leo, and we feel kind of good, right? We feel the warmth, we feel inspired, we start thinking about our own lives, we get contemplative and inspired, and like, that's the Leo journey. But again, for most, I shouldn't say for most, but for a majority of high vibe Leos, it takes them a lifetime to get into that comfortable role where they're actually doing it and thriving and not second guessing it or feeling like, am I worthy of this? Am I deserving? And then here's the PS to that. That's sun sign Leo. We all have a sun sign. So there's a piece of that in all of us where we are meant to shine our light, maybe not as the entertainer or the performer or the, whatever, fill in the blank with Leo associations, but for Taurus energy too. If you're watching this and you're a sun sign Taurus, what role are you being asked to step into and unapologetically shine your light and be that torch, be that inspiration for others? Because really that's what it is. It's about serving others with your gift and living your truth. That's going to make you happy and that's going to make everybody else happy. Just putting it out there. I'm not sure why I went on that tangent, but I do feel like that energy is significant because for some of you, this is you. Male, female, black, white, this, that, whatever. It's the embodiment of Leo energy. It's fierce, it's proud, it's the lion. It pounces on things. It knows what it wants and it goes for them. But also, like, it's fiery, it's feisty, it's fun. Taurians can absolutely be that way, but it doesn't necessarily feel like you're there right now. So I think this is trying to inspire you to get back to your core, yourself. So what is the outcome? It's funny, and now I'm wanting to call you Leo for Taurus. What is the outcome? What is the outcome for Taurus? There may be a Leo in your future. Some of you are going to take on some role of teacher, mentor, guide, I don't know what, guidance counselor, a guide of some kind, a mentor. Spirit guides are around you too. You may have an ancestor who was a Leo that it's like their spirit protects you. They're like what do you call it? Like a guardian angel. Outcome for Leo, yeah, this is getting your zhuzh back. And this is embracing new groups of people. This is a very untraditional Eight of Wands. So travel opportunities, hell yeah, absolutely. Some of you are going on like a backpacking through Europe thing, or like there's a travel expedition in your relatively near future. Some of you are packing up and moving like across the world to a different state. There's absolutely travel and movement. This Eight of Wands is getting your groove back and then being able to emit enough light to kind of join this circle, this group of people, and have to offer whatever is unique to you. It doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to be different. It just has to be you feeling confident and comfortable in your skin enough to open up a little bit and mingle with this group where you guys are going to be very inspired and enlightened by each other. So you might be joining some sort of group, community, class. For some of you, it's embracing like a spiritual community, or I'm almost getting like witches' coven. So do with that what you will, right? I use that term loosely, like being empowered by groups of women. Maybe it's, I don't know, something where you guys have been through a similar trajectory. I don't know if it's AA or survivors of this or something about that, where it's like each other's light inspires you all to go out and like live your best life. And this serves as a tremendous support group for you, even if it's just via email and text. Maybe you don't see these people all the time, but there's some forum or chat room or something where it's like you guys are enlightening each other with your own stories and feeling equally empowered and driven and motivated by this expression of truth. This is an expression of authentic truth. A journey of wisdom too. A lot of Sagittarian fire energy here too. It's like going on the adventure, leaning into the optimism and the faith faith is a very important word here, that again, when you take a leap of faith, the universe will catch you if you fall, but you have no reason not to. Because I just sense for a lot of you, you've settled into a lifestyle that you're not really happy, you're not really comfortable, you're not really enjoying it, but oh my God, if you only knew, like the upgrade is available to you. And for some of you, you're already starting to see that, like you're watching a tarot reading, so you're probably already in that kind of self-transformation mode, but I love this energy. All right, let's choose an oracle card. I always try and make these messages short, and they never are. It's just not my reading style. So if you're still with me, I appreciate you. You're my people. All right, for Taurus, what else would be helpful for Taurus to hear? Yeah, you may be connecting with someone long distance, or multiple people long distance for that matter. For Taurus, let's see. Travel, stop it. Thank you, Spirit. Confirmations. All right, here we go. Travel. Are they alphabetized? I believe they are. Travel. All right. What you wish for will not come about by sheltering within the comforts of your four walls and all that makes you feel secure. You're being called to journey the road less traveled, for the answers you seek certainly won't be found while you're sitting on the sofa. Instead, book that trip of a lifetime. Soak up the fiery sun of faraway lands. Go climb a mountain, bathe in tropical waters, or make that overdue visit you've been promising. This is the perfect time to go and seek adventure and retreat from a mundane world. So be the bold explorer. Go and discover for yourself what's waiting out there just for you. Love it. All right, Taurus, that's what I got for you. Please remember to like the video, guys. If you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to my channel if you like my style of readings. You can get notifications when I post, which I'm trying to do weekly, if not bi-weekly posts. So we'll see. But yeah, thanks for being here. Take care, and I will see you soon for more tarot. Bye, Taurus.